I just spent 15 hours in Loftia's closed beta, and in this video, I'm breaking down everything I've experienced in this solarpunk farming MMO so you can decide whether this cozy game is worth keeping on your radar. This game is set to release as early access this year on Steam and the Nintendo Switch. But there's now an exclusive beta sneak peek for their Kickstarter backers, content creators, and some giveaway winners. Remember that all footage shown in this video is from this beta access build, therefore it's the unfinished version of the game, and there are still many changes, fixes, and updates to be added before the game's early access release. Let's start with character creation and the extensive customization this game has to offer. The good news is you can change your character at any time, so if you ever change your mind about your look, you can easily do it from the menu. For eye shapes, there's a wide variety to choose from. You have round eyes, straight eyes, options with built-in eyeliner, different lash styles, and varying eyelid types. There are upturned and downturned shapes, and even anime-style eyes if that's your preference. Eyebrows are equally diverse. You can go for straight brows, arched brows with different degrees of curve or expressive shapes. There are thin or thick options and everything in between with varying lengths. In the eye settings, there's a slider for eye color which gives you a lot of freedom. You can also adjust your pupil size from small to large, and here's a feature I really love. You can customize your eye shine to have different styles and shapes. You can even change its size from barely noticeable to really prominent like this. For nose shapes, you have rounded, wide, prominent, upturned, and high-bridged options. You can rotate your character while customizing to see how everything looks from different angles. Once you've picked a shape, you can fine-tune it further with a size slider. Mouth shape variations are available as well, though I can only see myself using the happy or maybe the smirk option. The others feel a bit strange on my character's resting face. Jaw shapes include gaunt, round, big, small, soft, and tapered options. Beyond choosing a base shape, you can adjust both jaw size and chin size with sliders for even more precision. You can even add freckles with different pattern options and wrinkles as well if you'd like your character to have that look. For skin, there's a slider for skin tone which I really appreciate. You can also add vitiligo patterns and adjust its intensity to your liking. Body customization includes height, head size, arm thickness, and belly size. It's nice to have these options for different body types to really make your character yours. For hairstyles, there's also a good variety here. You have short, medium, and long hair options across different styles. There are straight hairstyles, wavy hairstyles, curly hairstyles, and textured hairstyles with different bangs and lengths. Some options are in a ponytail, a pigtail, braids, and different kinds of updos. There's also one hairstyle with a highlight. It's not obvious on my red-haired character, but there's a red highlight for this style. Unfortunately, you cannot change the highlight color separately yet, but I would love to see more two-toned hair options in the full game. For hair color, you have preset options, but you can also fully customize it using hue, saturation, and brightness sliders. Beards and mustache are available in different styles and lengths. There are styles for just a beard or just a mustache, but there are also options for a full facial hair. You can change a facial hair color independently from the hair in your head, which is a nice touch. Though your eyebrows will always match your hair color in the current build. For makeup, you can choose between simple blush, anime blush, star blush, or heart blush. There are also eyeshadow options, and you can adjust the intensity of your makeup. One thing I'd like to see in the future is the ability to wear both blush and eyeshadow at the same time. Now let's talk about outfits. Your starting selection will be limited, but you will unlock more as you play. What I really love is you can edit the colors of your outfits. Some outfits will even let you change the color of the different parts of the outfit. For tops, you start with crop tops, a basic t-shirt, hoodies, and some button-up shirts and dresses. Bottoms include jeans, shorts, exercise shorts, long skirts, short skirts, and baggy pants. There's even an inclusive option for a skirt or short with prosthetic legs, which I think is wonderful to see. Footwear covers the basics. You'll have some sneakers, slip-ons, boots, and sandals. For accessories, right now we only have eye accessories. You can add eyeglasses or eye patches to your character. The one limitation here is you cannot change accessory colors like you can with clothing. Overall, I'm really impressed with the character customization. It's extensive and offers a lot of freedom. The only issue I have is the clipping that happens with certain hairstyles and hats. This is the hairstyle I originally wanted, but as you can see, it clips through hats pretty badly. Since this is still beta, I'm confident they'll address this before early access. For now, I've settled on this other hairstyle instead, which works much better with hats. In this game, chunks of land from the old world got uplifted to the sky for reasons not yet clear, so you will be playing in different floating islands filled with relics from the past. The first island you will unlock after making your character is Loftia City, where you will encounter other players right away. Players will have their names above their heads, and these are people currently online on your server. You'll also see NPCs walking around town, though you can't interact with most of them, but it does make the town feel alive. Navigation is straightforward. Press WASD to walk and hold Shift to run. As you progress, you'll unlock a glider and double jump to make getting around easier. For fast travel, you can use the hot air balloon or air tram to move between different parts of the world. However, you will still need to run or glide to reach those stations first. There is no fast travel within individual maps yet. Loftia City is where you'll meet the first NPCs and unlock your initial set of tools. Using these tools, you'll gather resources from different parts of the map. Some materials can be picked up by pressing E, but others require tools. This hammer, for example, lets you break down items to extract materials. Each area yields different resources, so you will need to explore various locations to collect everything you need for crafting and leveling up. You'll find plenty of broken appliances to dismantle. For example, this old washing machine gives metal scraps when dismantled. These old microwaves break down into glass skillet, and so on. Essentially, you're salvaging old appliances to get crafting resources. As you level up your salvaging skill, you'll earn skill points that help you become more efficient at gathering, finding, and carrying resources. For example, initially you can only carry 10 screws at a time, meaning you have to use or sell them before gathering more. You can store extras, but storage has limits too. Thankfully, upgrading your salvaging skill increases your carry capacity for these materials. Other salvaging buffs include doubling material yields and gaining bonus experience when using your hammer. Beyond resource gathering, Loftia City also has several shops worth exploring. You can purchase items from the shops using Dew, which is this blue crystal currency. First, we have Estella's furniture shop, where you can buy new items for your homestead. To expand the shop's catalog, you can inspire her by giving specific materials. Say, I want to unlock this mushroom-themed set with a rug, chair, plant, and some decorations. I would need to give Estella a cauliflower and oyster mushrooms. These items can be found in the world or grown through farming. What's awesome is that unlocking collections doesn't just add them to her shop. You also learn the crafting recipe. This means, after unlocking a collection, you can either craft the furniture yourself using your own materials, or you can buy it directly from Estella using Dew. Linda's fashion shop works similarly. She sells hats, tops, bottoms, and shoes. Inspire her with specific items to unlock new clothing options that you can buy from her shop or tailor yourself. You will also find Hazel's seed shop where you can buy seeds for farming. Then there's Jun and Kun's shop where you can purchase recipes and some food items. Amani's permit office is where you upgrade permits to increase placement limits in your homestead. For example, right now I can only place 2 garden beds, but upgrading lets me place 4. This applies to energy stations, processing stations, tree plots, and other placeable items. This means that if I want to fully decorate my house and yard, not only do I need to craft or buy the decorative items, I also need to make sure I have upgraded my permits so I can place all of these items in my homestead. There are other interesting locations here in Loftia City like the World Project and the Adventure Ship, but we'll get to those later. For now, let's look at your neighborhood. Using the hot air balloon, you can travel here to access your house, storage, and processing machines. You'll spawn in an island with up to 3 random players, which changes every time. Right now, I'm paired with this three who have these cute homesteads, especially this one. I love their setup so far, and it looks like they've already expanded their island and they have items I haven't unlocked yet. If you'd rather not have visitors wandering through your house like what I'm doing, you can adjust your permissions by going to your privacy settings. You have a lot of control over who can do what. You can limit certain activities to just yourself, your best friends, your group members, or you can open it to public. These activities include entering your house, using your crafting stations, collecting water from your rain collector, harvesting energy from your solar panels, watering plants, accessing farms, using processing machines, opening storage, decorating your island, and entering your property. Be careful with these permissions, especially for your storage. Setting this to public means other people can freely take items from your storage. I think the default settings are sensible, so you don't need to worry about if you forgot to adjust your settings. In your homestead, you will build and access crafting and processing machines. Your project station, for instance, lets you craft tools, machines, storage, and other items. Crafting requires materials you've gathered around the other maps, and sometimes you'll need to process the raw materials first through other machines. Take this share box, for example. Crafting it requires a metal plate, which you can only make using a refining station. The refining station converts metal scraps that you can salvage in Loftia City into metal plates. Here's something important. Crafting and processing always consume battery power. Crafting this tree plot costs 5 energy plus materials, so making one will take 5 charges from your battery. Solar panels recharge your battery, though initially, both your battery capacity and energy production are quite limited. Battery capacity is upgradable. I've upgraded mine 3 times, bringing it to 15 charges, but at the start, you only have 5 charges on your battery. Your machines that produce energy like your solar panels can also be upgraded eventually, but since a lot of basic activities will need energy, managing it becomes a significant part of the game. Some machines like your project station will give you the items instantly. Others, like the refining station, consumes energy and requires a few real-life seconds or minutes to finish processing. Also, you can only process 5 items simultaneously, but this can also be upgraded as you level up your crafting skill. Up next, let's talk about farming. Farming requires garden beds, which you can craft at your project station. So far, I unlocked 1x1, 2x2, and 3x3 garden beds during the beta. How many garden beds you can place depends on your permit level. To plant, equip seeds from Hazel Shop in your tool wheel, approach a garden bed, and left-click to plant individually. After planting, use your watering can to keep crops hydrated. Each crop has a specific growth time. Lettuce takes 15 minutes, chili peppers take 40 minutes, and this is actual real-life time, not in-game time. The in-game clock runs separately. I believe 15 real-world seconds equals around 15 in-game minutes, but crop growth is tied to real time. You will need to return regularly to water your crops. When they run out of water, they stop growing. Right now it's raining, so my crops stay watered automatically, but normally I'd have to water each crop regularly. Refilling your watering can requires a rain collector, which you can craft at your project station. You can also get water from neighbors if their permissions allow it, and if you don't have an accessible rain collector in your neighborhood, you would need to travel all the way to Loftia City to refill your watering can. Like in your other skills, the amount of farming-related items you can carry at a time is also limited. You can expand this by leveling your farming skill, but otherwise, you will need to cook or sell items to free up space for more. So what do you do with harvested crops? First, you can sell them for due, the currency used at most shops. The shipping bin in the middle of the neighborhood lets you sell instantly for immediate due. Alternatively, you can save your crops to inspire shop owners like Estella and Linda to expand their catalogs. And your third option is cooking. Cooking requires energy and a minigame where you need to keep the arrow in the green and light green portions of the wheel by clicking your left mouse button. You also need to have the recipes to make certain food. Some recipes are unlocked from the start, but you need to buy most of it from Jun and Kun's shop. Cooking always increases profit margins, but since it requires energy and a minigame for each dish you make, I tend to just sell my crops as it is and only cook dishes that are required for some quests. You can decorate your homestead by pressing B. Placing items and decorations is simple. Select an item from your list, use Q and E to rotate, press M to snap to grid, or press M again for free placement. However, as I mentioned, your homestead has a placement limit. You will need to buy permits to increase how many items you can place. I haven't decorated extensively yet, but you can furnish both your yard and the interior of your house. I think the grid-free placement is great since it opens up so much creative freedom and customization. You can also stack items and add wall decorations like shelves. Furthermore, if you hover over any decoration, you can press P to edit its colors. The game even lets you color different sections of items independently, like the outer color of the shelf, then the inner color. If you don't like the changes you've made, you can always press reset to restore the item to its original color, which is a really neat feature. Another way to customize your home is by visiting this robot. In its shop, you can buy new house layouts, bigger islands, expanded house designs, and different colors for your walls, trims, windows, and doors. You can then use the customization mode here to modify your house. You can also customize your house to have 1 room, 2 rooms, or 3 rooms. Your house exterior stays the same regardless of how many rooms you have inside. Since you always spawn with other players, it's wonderful seeing their creativity with their island designs and layouts. It's inspiring and it motivates me to improve my own homestead. I would love to see more furniture interactions in future updates. You can sit on couches, but you cannot sleep or lie down on beds yet. Having more interactive furniture would make homesteads feel more alive in my opinion. And that covers the neighborhood. Now let's explore the other 2 maps I accessed during the beta. The second unlockable map is the Hanging Gardens, which is accessible via the air tram station. Having a glider is required in this area. The map consists of islands with varying heights, and gliding is often the most practical way to navigate. If you get stuck anywhere like I did while recording footage for this video, you can press escape and teleport to the starting zone. The Hanging Gardens offers materials you can gather and salvage that are not available in Loftia City. Again, the types of items you can get varies depending on which area of the map you're on. This is also where you'll unlock fishing. Let's look at how fishing works. First, you need to find a body of water and look out for small, white, swirling circles. Equip your fishing rod from your toolbar, press and hold left click to cast, and time the release so your rod lands near the swirling circle. If you cast too far away, nothing will happen, but if you time it correctly, a minigame will appear where you need to left click when the indicator reaches the green portion of this circle. If you manage to land on the light green section, you will catch the fish instantly. But if you land only on the green portion, additional circles might appear, and you need to continuously land on the green areas of the circle to catch the fish. Rarer fish will trigger more circles before you can catch it. Sometimes you'll just snag algae or other scrap and skip the fishing minigame altogether. Different waters yield different fish. After catching something, you can go to your collections to see more information about it, including where it's found, making it easy to return to catch the fish again in the future. The fish you catch can only be sold for 1 piece of dew, and I have not seen any recipe that uses it. According to the lore, most species are considered endangered, so even our fishing rod here is completely harmless to the fish. So why do we need to catch fish in this game? Primarily, they are used to complete research stations scattered throughout the maps. In exchange for contributing to the research of the local fauna and flora, you will get new recipes that help you advance in the game. For example, I finished this bundle at the Central Lake Research Station, which required specific fish I'd caught, and my reward was the hammer tool upgrade recipe. Upgrading my hammer enabled me to access other areas of the map. Research stations often have multiple pages. Each bundle offers its own reward, then completing an entire page gives a bonus. Different research stations are scattered around the Hanging Gardens and the third map, each requiring different items and offering different rewards. There is another station here at the Hanging Gardens that requires items that you can gather from a special area called the Overgrowth. You can only enter this area after upgrading your hammer, and inside there are still many hidden areas locked behind tool upgrades. Some spots here are only accessible with bounce boots, a glider, or double jump. The overgrowth is a resource rich area perfect for gathering seedlings, fruits, mushrooms, and other items. There are a lot of areas here where you can use your pruners for foraging. Use them to collect rattan, bamboo, flowers, and other forageable items. Fishing, research, and foraging are all upgradable skills. Invest skill points to increase curry item limit, improve harvest amounts, or boost efficiency. There are no unique shops in the Hanging Gardens, but Hazel and Kun appears here sometimes instead of Loftia City. There is a hot air balloon near Hazel's seed shop here that you can use to teleport straight to your neighborhood, which is convenient since if you use the air tram, you would first have to travel to Loftia City, then use the hot air balloon just to reach your house. The third and final map accessible in the beta is called the Gridfall, which is a former metropolis where you'll find new gathering opportunities and materials to salvage and forage. You'll also unlock new tools here. First is the wrench, which is used for repairing items. Some repairs require repair kits that you need to craft on your project station back at home. Repairing items in the map will reward you with unique materials. For example, I repaired this hydroponic garden and extracted rust-resistant alloys. Then, pipes and lampposts can be repaired for rusted metals, all of which are useful for crafting. This map has its own research stations offering new recipes, including the one for rail boots. Those boots will let you travel along the violet lines you see above, and I haven't unlocked that yet myself, but they will open up new areas in the map. Another unique feature here is the kinetic floor. Walk or sprint on it to charge the nearby battery station, which you can then use to refill your battery. This is particularly useful because you'll eventually be able to access these blue doors that require battery charges to open. Some doors cost 5 energy and others cost 10, so having a way to refill your battery in this map itself is convenient. Entering a blue door shifts your POV to top-down, creating a dungeon crawler feel. You will need to navigate through rooms to reach different areas. There are different materials that you can collect from these rooms, and here you can use your locator tool to find dig spots where you can unearth old world artifacts, like rubber duckies, old plushies, and other collectibles. Since Loftia is an MMO, let's discuss what you can actually do with other people here. Across all 3 maps, you will see other players going about their activities. Even in your neighborhood, you're often with other players as I mentioned earlier. Let's first talk about the small interactions you can do randomly at any point. First, you'll unlock this bouncing ball that you can use to start this minigame where you need to keep the ball bouncing for as long as possible. It doesn't really give you any rewards, but from my experience, most people around you will help you keep the ball in the air if they see you start the minigame. Then you can express your emotions in the game by clicking J and choosing from some actions you've unlocked. There are different kinds of emotions or actions here, including different kinds of dance steps. You can talk with other people by pressing T or Enter to open global chat. Your messages here become visible to everyone on your current map and server. There would also be a chat bubble that appears on top of your character when you send a message. You can also trade and share items with other people. Trade directly with friends by walking up and selecting the trade option, or you can place a share box at your homestead where you can place items you no longer need so that other people can take it. You can walk up to any player and press E to message them privately, add them as a friend, or invite them to your group. You can also add friends by username. Once they accept, you can message them, designate them as best friends, jump to their location if they're online, remove them from your list, invite them to groups, or block them. The only advantage I found for inviting people into groups is for adventuring. For this part, let's check out the adventure ship in Loftia City. Each adventure requires 5 scrambled coordinates. These are earned randomly through salvaging, fishing, farming, and other activities. If you are in a group with other people, only one person needs to pay for the scrambled coordinates and you can join their adventure. For each adventure, you will be taken to a new location and you'll be given a random set of tasks that you need to complete within 4 minutes. You can, of course, go on an adventure on your own, but some of the objectives will need at least 2 other players to complete, like redirecting the antenna. This one needs 2 players, so unfortunately, you cannot complete this objective by yourself. You can still do some of the other tasks on your own, but your progress will be much slower since you're the only one running around in the map and doing all the activities by yourself. Some of the objectives also include completing some light puzzles inside this warehouse. Again, some of the puzzles will need 2 people to complete. Other objective examples include freeing the birds from being trapped, building seismic sensors, and finding some lost campers. You'll get blooms depending on the number of objectives you've completed, and the rewards will increase as you complete more of the objectives. Another group activity that you can do with other people is the community farm in the Hanging Gardens. This event starts every 5 minutes before each real-world hour, letting you participate alongside other players. The objective of this event is to put the required crops in the basket. Each activity that you contribute towards reaching this goal will count towards your personal score, but you also have a group score here. First, you need to use the wheel up these stairs to change the seed that you can withdraw from these chests. Then, you need to get the seeds and plant them anywhere in these planter boxes. Crop growth works differently in this area, so the crops grow very fast, and it will also need watering more frequently. After some time, the crops will be ready for harvest and you can now deposit it in the basket. The required crops increase and change as you play, so it's also not a good idea to plant just one type of crop all at once. The rewards will be distributed among the players depending on how much you scored individually. Adventuring and joining the community farm event are the 2 biggest features in this game so far, where playing and interacting directly with other people will be a huge advantage. Lastly, let's talk about the project bot, which is located at Loftia City. For each season, there would be a world project where the whole community would have to work together to finish. For the beta, the world project is building this wind turbine and it has 4 stages. You'll be able to advance to the next stages of the project by completing community goals tasked by the project bot. This one changes each real-life day. Today's needed contribution is 15 blooms. On other days, the project bot asked for aluminum bars, copper bars, and recycled polyester. On some days, it required the completion of certain activities, like salvaging washing machines or foraging rattan and so on. As players complete these objectives, the project can progress to the next stage faster. Each stage of the project will unlock special items that you can buy using another currency called souls. So for example, you can redeem these pajama pants, tops, and slippers from this stage of the project. If you notice, some of the items here have this icon. This is available for free during the beta, but it says here that Season Pass items with this icon require an active Season Pass. I think the Season Pass will be a paid feature once the game is out in early access, but all of the rewards that you can get using this paid feature are pure cosmetic. There's nothing that can help players advance or have an unfair advantage in the game itself. So how do we earn souls? The easiest way is by completing the community project daily goal, which will give you 100 souls. Another way to earn souls is by doing adventures. You will get a small amount of souls by completing some objectives from these adventures. The third way to earn them is by completing contribution bins that are scattered across the maps. You need to complete all of the items needed for a certain bin to get 25 souls as a reward. The items needed to complete a bin also changes daily. I personally think the reward is quite small for the amount of things that you need to do and gather for one contribution bin. For example, today you need a chef salad and a power smoothie for this particular contribution bin. In order to make a chef salad and power smoothie, you first need to buy the recipe for it from June or Kun, then get the required crops or items for it, and then cook it using your cooking station. After all of this, it only rewards 25 souls. Each contribution bin will have different requirements, so some may be easier to complete than the others. The contribution bins in Loftia City require food. Here at Hanging Garden, it requires fish, and the contribution bins in the Gridfall require artifacts that you can get from the blue doors. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Loftia's beta. The customization is extensive and offers a lot of freedom. The three available maps each have distinct atmospheres with a lot of fun nukes to discover, and multiplayer integration feels natural. Spawning with random neighbors keeps things fresh, then the adventure ship and the community farm activities create reasons to interact with other people beyond just seeing them in the world. That said, there are areas I'd love to see improved. The hair clipping through hats was noticeable and limited my hairstyle choices. Hopefully, this gets addressed before early access. Then, I would love more travel options within the maps. Since players will be doing a lot of back and forth between the research stations, contribution bins, and different gathering areas, having more fast travel points or even just a mini-map with markers would be really helpful. Right now, you can place a marker on your map, but you cannot see it in the world, and there are no trails leading to it. Some quests do show arrows leading up to your objective, but for general exploration, having a better way to navigate would be great. I'd also like to see more labels in the map. For example, even though I know certain plants or fruit can be obtained from the overgrowth, I have to remember where that area is because there are no labels when I'm in the map. Despite these small issues, I'm already impressed with what Loftia has to offer, considering this is just the beta. The game has a relaxing, cozy vibe while still giving you plenty of goals to work toward. The emphasis on community and sustainability really comes through in the gameplay. I'm excited to see how the game develops before early access. If you're interested in this game, you can wishlist it now on Steam. What do you think of Loftia so far? Let me know in the comments. Stay cozy and keep gaming.